evidence against a serial killer suspected of murdering 3 Spokane prostitutes in a cold case that went unsolved for more than 2 decades. Yolanda Stapp, Nikki Lowe, and Kathleen Brisboe were shot to death, their bodies dumped near the Spokane River in the spring of 1990. Investigators say Donna Perry is responsible for those killings. Perry went through gender reassignment surgery in 2000 and was a man when the homicides happened. KXLY4 Jeff Humphrey was working for you when he broke this story on his Twitter account and joined us now live along Upriver Drive where one of those victims was found. Jeff?
Nadine, long before anybody had ever heard of Robert Yates, there was another serial killer preying on Spokane area prostitutes. The women were sexually assaulted and shot in the head, and then their bodies dumped over the embankments here along the Spokane River. Now detectives are saying they have evidence that ties Donna Perry to all 3 victims more than 2 decades after they were murdered. By the time Kathy Brisboe's body was found here near Trenton Pines, 2 of her fellow prostitutes had already been murdered. It was one of the reasons why Brisboe fought with her attacker and managed to get some of the killer's skin under her fingernails. 15 years later, Brisboe's nail clippings were resubmitted to the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab, where forensic scientists had gotten a lot better at extracting and then comparing DNA samples.
And lo and behold, a few years later, there was a matching profile with Donna Perry, which obviously has led to these charges for these 3 women.
Up until now, DNA only linked Donna Perry to Brisboe's murder. Perry was suspected of the other killings because of similarities in the type of pistol and locations used. But now detectives in the crime lab have come up with some new evidence.
With the evidence that was submitted, there was fingerprints located on lubricant that was in Nikki Lowe's property, which matched Donna Perry's. The blanket that was in Yolanda Stapp's property, DNA was located in that blanket that also matched Donna Perry.
The case against Perry is now getting stronger and must come as welcome news to the victims' families. When we talked to Brisboe's brother after Perry was named as a suspect, he was pleased his sister played a critical role in Perry getting caught.
Now that it's come to pass that we have somebody that is a suspect, we're just elated. I mean, it's some way to find closure in an open wound that's been there for 22 years.
And Nadine, get this, just 7 days from now, Donna Perry was scheduled to be released from a Texas prison where she's doing time on an unrelated firearms charge, but instead of walking free, she is going to be transferred to the Spokane County Jail. That thanks to a couple of detectives who are willing to take another look at some very cold case files. Reporting in Spokane, Jeff Humphrey, KXLY4.